welcome to the live stream live. I am your host, Joshua Schubart, and I hope you are having a beautiful Tuesday evening. If you're on the East Coast, if you are anywhere else other than here, moving to the West, it is still early evening or the afternoon. And if you're watching internationally, thank you so much for being here. If you are hearing this in the future on the podcast, thanks for listening. And if you're watching the replay, what's up? The replay is awesome. Okay, so you know the drill. I'm gonna interview someone really cool. Tonight is Anni Krueger, who I met I'd say about a year ago now, and I'll tell you more about her after the usual, what I'm watching, what I'm reading, and how I'm feeling. So I'm still watching The Last of Us season 2. It is still incredible, still magical. I've been seeing a lot of fucking hate on the internet for Bella Ramsey. And for the life of me, I don't know why the fandom needs to be as toxic as it is. No, she doesn't look exactly like the make-believe person in the video game, but she's doing like some of the most incredible award-worthy work that I've seen in a long time out of a actor so young. She's in her early 20s and she's just ripping the ass out of this fucking character. And I'm sorry she doesn't sort of look like, Juno or whatever, but shut the fuck up. Like, she's doing a great job. And is it she or is it they? It's they. Fuck. They are a incredible artist and a wonderful actor. So shut the fuck up and watch The Last of Us. I completed Foundation season 2. That's on Apple Plus. For those of you that don't know what that is a wonderful show based off of Isaac Asimov's books, his trilogy called Foundation. And it is just a magical journey through politic and imperialistic rule on a massive empire scale of a massive universe. And it is so well done and incredible. I've spoken about it before, but you should go check it out. Apple Plus has a lot of stuff, including my movie that just came out. It is called Doctor, where I play a hilarious cop who gets shot in the chest. But spoiler alert, but that is also on Apple Plus, but you may not know about it because they're terrible at advertising their products. So I'm gonna do a little bit and just talk about what I'm doing, and you can go there and you can watch that film. It is very funny. It is a comedy. I'm in it. Stephen He is in it. He's a very popular YouTuber. It's the first time that I've been in anything where the lead was a YouTuber or an influencer, but he did go to acting school, so it didn't feel too bad. And he's a great guy, and he's very funny. So you should go check it out. It's about a hypochondriac who has to step into the role of an actual doctor, and just hilarity and chaos ensues. Check it out on Apple Plus. Yeah. What I'm reading is I am still reading. I'm working my way through the Dresden Files. For those of you that don't know what that is, it is a like private investigator, like serialized wizard novels that are a lot of fun. They are based in Chicago, and I love Chicago. I don't know if any of you have ever been or worked in or looked at pictures of that place, but it's a wonderful city, and it feels a bit like New York, but it's, I don't know. There's not more theater, but it's more like it has a more indie theater vibe than we have here at the moment. And they're always putting on like progressive, explosive work. And it's just a wonderful place to see and to experience. So go check out Chicago, if you can. um, but so yeah, so it's set there, and it gets more and more crazy as it goes all along, and it's just like mayhem and magic and love and romance and vampires and werewolves and all the shit that I love very, very much. Um, how am I feeling? I'm feeling fucking a little crazed with how things are going in the world, in our country specifically. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in the world, but just between empty shelves in Oklahoma and children getting deported. I mean, American children getting deported. It is becoming more and more troubling every fucking moment. It's a thing that is beginning to not beginning to just it. I'm a father, right? I have two beautiful girls, and I can't imagine having my kids torn away and sent somewhere where they're not supposed to be. Um, and that's right now, and like that, and like judges getting arrested. It's all very troubling in a way that hasn't felt felt like this before. It's we are in a we're about to enter some sort of constitutional crisis soon, I feel. From everything that I've seen and everything that I've read and just like all the actions that are being taken. If you can't see it, I don't know why. I s- I understand that we may like people and there's a cult of personality around folks, but there's also like truth that's happening right before your eyes, and things that are being said, that are being recorded, that are being broadcast very publicly, that are insane, like building more prison camps in other countries and things of that nature. We already went through this before. We went through it in our own country when we interned the Japanese Americans. Like, we don't need to be repeating history because we have such short memories. Um, Losing sight of who our allies are and encouraging um, atrocity and uh, unrest and like tanking of economies is madness, and shit needs to change, and a lot quicker than the midterms. That's a long time away. Um, so despite the sad fuck shit I just said, I am still very optimistic when I see people protesting, posting, getting out in the streets. If you can't do that, you can email, write, call your elected officials and just let them know what you want and how you feel. Um, and that's important because that's how shit is supposed to work here, and that's what we've been doing for a long time. Um, and I hope it will. I hope it will continue. I believe it will, and you know, let's see how it goes over the next few months. Um, yeah. Other than that, I am very happy being a dad. My youngest daughter is now just 3 months old, and she's doing new things that are incredible and making noises and more active and tracking with her eyes and eating more and sleeping more, which is super important for me and my wife because we haven't been sleeping all that much. And Yeah, auditions have started to pick up again, which is great. This past week I had 8, uh, which is which is like what I was doing post, like, a year ago or so, like before like the merger year and the strikes and whatever. Like, there was a brief period of time where like there was like this harmony, and it was right before the hiatus, and I was getting a lot of opportunity. And I know from a lot of people, I have heard that it's been slow, it's been kind of shitty, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. But it was because of a few factors. It was because of the LA wildfires, and it's because of the election uncertainty and what's happening in the market and blah blah blah, and like what should be made, what should be greenlit, and because of the like average writer's room takes about, you know, 5 to 6 months, and then it goes into production. So so we're at a point now where things should start coming out of rooms and moving into production because of a lengthened schedule and blah blah blah. So hopefully the industry will see an uptick of activity, which would be great for me and my compatriot actors and producers and the writers and everybody that works in the industry. Yeah. So I think that's good. I think that's what I've been watching. That's what I've been reading, and that's what I've been feeling. So let me talk a little bit about Anni Krueger. So I I met Annie on a very interesting job. We were hand modeling together for an alcohol brand. I had never done anything like it before. Um, I had only heard of parts modeling as like this legend that only a few people got to do. And I certainly didn't think that I, with my giant, you know, monkey hands, would ever be able to do. But it turns out they needed that day, and it was a wild day of getting like my hands massaged by a nice lady every 20 minutes with lotions and like making sure that my hand looked nice. And the thing that stood out to me about Annie was that um, she was immediately kind, and I was out of place and I felt out of place, and she made me feel grounded and normal. And a lot of the times in our industry, when people see a new person doing a thing that maybe they've done before, or they're on a set, or they come onto their set, sometimes more than half the time, I would say they're not very nice to you. Um, and it's and it's a thing that I try to do is I try to be kind to people that I meet. So when I find a person that is kind first, it's really refreshing. And we had a great conversation, and she's really really cool, and she's done a lot of really cool shit. Um she is her most current project that we'll be talking about, which will be coming out soonish, is called The Artist. She was also in a really cool film called Werewolves Within. She is in the Green Veil, which is a really cool series with John Leguizamo. She was in the Equalizer, and she was also in Inside Amy Schumer, where she actually had a song go fucking viral from that show, which is really really cool. And yeah, so I'm just gonna shut the fuck up now, and I'm gonna bring up Annie Krueger. What up, Annie?
Hey, oh my gosh, I'm like blushing so hard.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Mm, I'm good. I mean, I went on a little like rant there for a bit about the country, but I'm okay.
Yeah, we're all just hanging in there
By her fucking fingernails.
by our fingernails. By the
So,
way, I also thought you were very kind when I met you
oh, thank
back
you.
or whenever. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a so I've never gotten any like parts modeling again. And part of it was that like I didn't make the final cut of the campaign.
Oh, really? Would you
Yeah.
recognize your own hands?
w- Well, yeah, because you know, like I was holding an ice cube over the back glass,
Okay.
and they just took my hand out. So
Yeah.
I guess they just didn't like what they saw. They're like, his hand. No.
No, it's not that, but you got
No.
paid.
I did get paid, which is cool. Like, it's a cool thing because you can just like do it every day
Mhm.
and just keep making money every day
Right.
when you're not recognizable, which is really cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
And I like that because it's money, and money's great.
Money is good. We like money.
Um, yeah. So you're also a parent.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. You have a son?
I do. I have one boy. He's 15, which is crazy to say out
Man.
loud. Yeah, but he's the best. He's like, my best friend.
And you were saying that you didn't get into the industry until after you had a kid?
Yeah, well, in the TV and film world, yeah. So it's a very long story of how I ended up where I am, but I started pursuing TV and film after he was born. I was doing a little bit of print modeling and a little bit of commercial work. Well, maybe not even commercial work. I think I just modeled a little bit. And
Okay.
then I got signed to this is like so bizarre. So I was pregnant about 6 months, I think, and I decided I wanted to be a model when I was 6 months pregnant. I had done a little bit before, but, it had just kind of, like, took off a little bit, and I ended up pregnant, and, when I was 6 months pregnant, I got signed to a maternity modeling agency.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, so I did a lot of, like, modeling as a pregnant woman, um, and then, yeah, I didn't start doing TV and film until he was 5. I waited to kind of go back to work after he started kindergarten.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you find it as a parent? Is it
Parenting?
no, like, well, I
Oh,
mean,
the
I'm
business?
sure. I mean, if you wanna talk about that, but how do you find being a parent while also being an actor in the industry and being one that works? Like, you work all the time.
I think it's gotten a lot easier as he's gotten older.
Sure.
Obviously, when they're young, they need so much more of you, so much more of your time and energy. And so when I first started, it was difficult, but he started going to kindergarten, and I knew I had this. Like I was basically a stay-at-home mom. I was only doing some photo shoots and studio work, here and there until he was 5. And once he went to school full time, like 6 hours a day, I was like, what am I going to do with
Mhm.
myself? And so I, kind of just decided this is the time like that I need to give back to myself and start pursuing what matters to me.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, because it's interesting because a lot of people will not do the family even or even
Yeah.
get married in the industry because they feel like it'll hurt their career.
Right.
Um,
It
and
is,
I
it
don't
is.
think that's true.
No, I mean, I haven't found that that's the case for me personally. I'm sure there are struggles, like you do have to balance your time better. You're financially responsible for another human being, so it's
Yeah,
not you can live on breadcrumbs and hope. Uh,
unemployment. Yeah.
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 But I found that like being a parent and pursuing something that felt so much bigger than me gave me a lot of motivation to not only prove to myself that I'm capable of doing it, but to, set an example for my child.
No, that's 100% true. Just because like this is one of the hardest things that you can possibly pursue,
Yeah.
and to stick with it and to excel in it is a huge deal. Like no matter how people try to say like, "Ah, I'm just lucky," or like blah blah blah, or the shit that like people say to like make it seem like they didn't work hard,
Right.
where it's like, no, like if you're working and if you're consistently working, you are working constantly behind the scenes
Yeah.
to get yourself in a position to continue to work, like, and as an actor, you have to constantly prove over and over again that you should keep doing it. Like it's one of the only things where you can't just be like, look at my resume. Can't
Right.
you see?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I also think that I don't know how it was for you, but before becoming a parent, I had so much time and I don't even think I realized it, but
Right.
as when you become a parent, you get really efficient. You become so good at time management, like every minute counts.
Well,
Uh,
my auditions are so fucking fast now.
yeah.
Like, that's what you're saying, like, I had so much time that I had so much time to, like, be like, "I don't know if that take
Mhm.
was good. Did it feel good? Blah," and, like, now it's like, I don't have time. I have to go,
Oh,
like, feed my daughter in 40 minutes. I have
yeah,
this window to do
you
these
really do.
these 9 pages. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And but it's also made my acting better just because I don't have time to, like, I'm good at this. This has been a thing that I've been up to for almost 2 decades. Like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I don't need to, like, second guess myself, like, go with my instincts. And, like, even my manager said, like, since I've had kids, I've been doing the best work I've ever done. And it's just because I don't have time. I don't have time.
You don't have time, but, like, you've lived more experiences, like, it
Yeah,
does provide, a bigger toolbox of the things that you're able to bring to the table as an
it's
actor.
true.
Yeah.
And I remember, my like, in, like, acting school, that was one of the main things that I was always told was what was like, "As you get older, you'll become a better artist, you'll become a better actor because of your life experience," because that's what acting is. It's you know, living.
Yeah.
And I was always like, "What does that mean? What are you talking about?" Like,
I'm waiting
"I'm
tables.
living now. I'm fucking yeah, and it's like, "Fuck you." But it's like, no, like, you know, like my like one of my last, like, really like prolific acting teachers for me, his name is Andre Babel, and he was Russian. And, like, he was like, actors do not, um like, he was like, actors don't hit their peak on till they're like 38 or 40. And no one wanted to hear that shit either because
No.
we were all, like, 25 years old. And,
Yeah.
like, we were like, "What about now?" And he's like, "No, you suck now.
You have not lived.
It's not good, it's bad.
It
It's
is
not
shit.
it's not organic. You stink." Yeah, but it was a lot of that. Like, it was a lot of, like, your learning craft so that you can have it for when you have things to fill it with.
Yeah.
And, I never understood that more than when I became a father. Well, like, when I got married, it became a whole other thing. And I was like, "Wow, I've never been more motivated in my life to do anything."
Mhm.
And then I had my first kid, and I was like, "I have never been more motivated."
And then you had your second kid, and you're like, "I've never been
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
motivated."
then I was, like, ripping my face off, like, "I've never been more motivated. I need to shoot an audition while you're giving birth in the hospital," like, yeah. But
Yeah, it's true, it's true.
so, Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
So, right, I'm good at transitions. So, Amy Schumer. Um,
Perfect.
yeah, so I was on that show as an extra in the beginning of my career.
Oh, really?
I was in, like, the gangbang sketch from, like, season 1 of
Okay,
the original series.
okay.
Um, and then flash forward, when we were at the table, I fucking
Yeah.
recognized you from the show because I had
No,
just
you
watched.
didn't.
Yes, I did. Because a couple days before, because I'm in the television academy, so, like, we, like, do screenings and stuff to, like, pick Emmys or whatever. I'm not bragging. This is just what, like, happened. And we watched one of the episodes that you were in, and then, like, Amy had a whole talk back. And I was too scared to, like, be like, "Amy, I was extra in the gangbangs." I just didn't talk to her. But, um,
I
but
met
I
you. I met you once.
I met you. You
I know
told me to
you.
back up from the guy who had lines over and over again. Remember me? But, but I remember after our shoot with the hands, I was like, "Oh, shit, she's from Amy Schumer. Cool." And, yeah, so you started on that show doing music for it and then became, like, a principal player on it as well?
Yeah. Well, so this is also it I mean, I hate to say it, but this industry is so much about who you know.
Mm,
Um, So I have done music for television for quite some time and have been in the music industry since I was a teenager. And so I met through my husband a composer that lives near me, and he composed for the show. Um, and he called
Oh,
me in to do vocals on this rap.
which is
You know
the
which one I'm
which is the
talking about?
Lemonade song.
Yes, the Milk Lemonade song.
Yeah.
Um, every time I have to sing professionally, it's always about, like, poop or something. It's never serious. All of my music and comedy are always intertwined. So yeah, so I rapped for, season 3. I think it was the first episode of season 3. We were shortlisted for the Emmy, which is crazy.
That's
Um,
crazy. Yeah.
if for the nominations or whatever,
Yeah.
which obviously would have been an incredible thing to add to my resume, but it didn't happen. But
Would have been just great. Just
yeah, so I think originally I was just hired to demo the song for Amy, to have like she was supposed to rap it. And the other participants on the song were Amber Rose and Method Man
yeah.
from Gang, which is insane. And then I guess she got into the studio and wanted to keep my vocals in there. She just thought they sounded like, I'm a professional, I guess. So she wanted like a little bit of help. So she rapped kind of along with me in that song. And then they brought me back for season 4, and I did another song, which was me and Sarah Bareilles. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool.
yeah, and then, I just became, pretty good friends with, one of the EPs on the show, Dan Powell, who's an incredible producer and creator, and he brought me back as a principal actor. Like, they were casting for season 5 because they had that long hiatus, and, they reached out to me and asked if I'd read for a couple roles, and yeah, got a part.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool. I mean, it's such a weird way into a lot like, it is, like, like, it's who you know, which is an annoying thing that
yeah,
people say, but it really is, and you really do have to, like, immerse yourself a bit in the industry. I mean,
yeah.
like, I remember before I, like, was doing anything, I was just going to every film festival that I could get to, and, like, a lot of New York indie houses do premieres of new indie films that you can just
Mhm.
go to. So I was just there, just like meeting indie people, just trying to break into TV and film because I just was doing nothing but Shakespeare,
Yeah.
and I loved it, but it doesn't pay the bills, yo. Uh,
No. Well, also, like, they say it's who you know, but that doesn't mean that we all need to know Steven Spielberg, you know what I
right,
mean? It's like
yeah,
you meet people when you're on jobs and you keep in touch with them and you form, like, very genuine friendships and relationships, and then those people end up making something and calling you or vice
it's
versa,
true. It's very
That
true.
that's really how you build your network is you're not going out being like, "I really need to meet Robert De Niro tonight so he can cast me in something." Like, it's like you're just living your life as an actor and, if you're active in class or active, being working, hopefully, or making
Yeah, and you're not a bag of dicks, then
yeah, you're not an
yeah,
asshole,
yeah.
then people might reach out. Like, if you're a good time, they might reach
If
out
you're
to you.
nice to be around, yeah. No, it's true, like, whenever I make anything, I'm, like, always just I'm like, I don't even audition anybody, I just ask p people
Yeah.
that I know. Um, it's easier because you just know that they're good and that they're not gonna fuck up your life.
Yeah, I know. I feel like there's so much negativity in the industry, like, about Hollywood always casting the same people, which I get it. It's annoying and there's room for other people, but everybody, even when they get to the top, like, everybody just wants to work with their friends. They just want to, like, go to work and be around people they enjoy and make cool shit and, help each other
And
out.
they
So
also wanna know that you can
that you
not
can
fuck up
deliver.
their thing, yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, like, especially when it's like a $300 million thing, like they're just gonna be like, this guy isn't gonna fuck up my like
Right.
space epic. I'm gonna put him in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I mean, we're in the world of self-tape, so you can do 50 takes of something
Yeah.
before you send it in. I mean, I hope to God nobody is, but
I'm sure there are.
like, how do you really know how prepared an actor is when you're not performing in the room anymore?
It's
You know?
true. It's true. It's a different, totally different world with the tapes. And while it's convenient for me, and I guess for you too, because we got them kids, um, I miss being in person.
Mhm.
I made a I don't think I made a better impact in person, but I certainly made a some other type of impression in person.
I agree. I mean, I feel like I have a hard time conveying who I am, like, at my core, I guess, in self-tapes, and so that's always my goal every time I do a tape is just to, like, put as much of myself into it so they understand what they're getting, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to put on a character, I'm trying to live this scene as if it were me, with the direction given. But in the room, I felt like I had a better or easier time making a connection just because I don't know, I get cast as like an uptight biatch a lot. And like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm that kind of person in real life, but like, I think when people just see what I look like, they think like, oh, she's wealthy and stuck up, and in person, I'm like
She
clearly
looked
not that.
horrible.
So
I
I
I
miss
agree
that connection.
with that though. Like just because like I wouldn't be like the roles that that I'm auditioning for now,
Yeah.
I would have never have gotten to the type of role that I am now if people just were basing it off what I looked like. Because
Right.
in the beginning of my career, all I did, because I'm a big dude.
Yeah.
So like I'm a big, tall, muscle dude. So I was getting like rapist and guy who hits you and cop
Got
who shoots you in
fired.
the face, like shit like that. But then casting got to know me as a person,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, you're all like multifaceted, and you can cry, and like you can do all this stuff really well." And I'm like, "I can," and you
Yeah.
see it now, and so like a couple of years before the lockdown, my casting, what I was getting called in for, morphed. And I'm very fortunate that I was able to do these things in person and
Yeah.
to meet casting directors and to get to know them, so that I could actually start to play the people that I am like.
Mhm.
Like I'll play the dude that will like body slam somebody. That's fine. That's fun, and I have that training.
Sure.
But like I want to be in love on screen. I want to portray the person that I am inside, who I
Yeah.
am inside.
Who I am. I wanna be
um
me.
I want to be me. I just want to show them I I'm so happy and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
That comes with time too, like, you've been in the industry a long time, and hopefully over time you're booking different types of roles,
Yeah.
and, your reps are getting you out there and picking up the phone and calling casting and saying, like, "I really want you to see, this guy for this," or you know what I mean? Like, that's relationships that you've built on so many levels that allows you to explore lots of different types of characters.
It is. I will say that my manager, her name is Ingrid French.
Mhm.
And I've been with her for a decade
Yeah.
this year. And she was like the first person really that I told her what I wanted, and she was like, "Yeah, okay." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And she was like, "Yes, let's make that happen for you. I believe that's what you want, and let's do it." I was like, "Oh, okay." Like she was the first person to like see me for who I was, and I was looking for that. Like I had like gone through a bunch of managers, and she was like, "Yeah, yep, let's just try it out and see what happens." And she's my biggest advocate. She pushes for me, like she goes to bat for me, like with my like agent, to be like, he's not playing that thing, that's not what he does, so I don't have to do it anymore. And she's just like, fuck yeah. Like when I was trying to play the Thing in the Fantastic Four, she was bothering them like constantly, like multiple times a week, because I had made this like short film called The Transformation of Ben Grimm, and like she was like in their life, and I like really appreciated it. So it's nice when you have an ally like that.
100%. Yeah. My manager is very much the same. As soon as I met her, we just had an understanding of each other, and I felt like she saw me.
What's her name?
Her name's Danny Super.
Danny Super.
Danny Super. She's badass.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I've been with her since I started TV and film. She totally took a chance on me, really. Like, I hadn't done any TV and film yet. I only had commercials under my belt. You know, we met up. I was referred to her through a very good friend of mine. And we met up, and she asked me to like put myself on tape. And like, you know, I don't think the tapes were great, but she definitely saw that there was some potential there. And I think the first night that we met in person for like kind of a sit down, we talked for like 3 hours. And I told her my entire life story, which is long. Like I've lived many lives already, and I at the time I had lived many lives, and I was, you know, in my 20s, and she was kind of like, "What? You did that? You did this, and you were here and there." And so I'd been through it, and I think she saw that there was a depth and, you know, something that she could work with, and I adore her. She's awesome. She's always a bat for me, and it's nice to have someone in your corner.
It is. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that I also wouldn't be able to make this happen without my wife.
Yeah.
She supports me 100%, and it's only because I've proved that I can do it, and that you know, like if you prove that you can make a thing happen, then your partner's going to absolutely 100% support you.
Yeah.
And she's like, when I'm feeling kind of like shitty or I'm feeling down, like she's just like, shut up, dude. Like, you're like, look at all the stuff that you've done. Like there's no reason for you to feel this way. I'm like, you're right, babe. Thank you. Like
my husband's the same. He's always like, you did this and you did that. Like anytime I'm like, like crying about some job I didn't get, he's like, do you know that you did this and you did that? And, you know, always patting me on the back and hyping me up. He's my hype man for sure.
It's cool. And like she like also knows that like once you like we hit a certain money thing in our industry, it just goes up for a long time. So it's like the money rocket ship. and that's, I know, like it's like it's there. Like once you can hold it for a little while, it can really change your life. It can change the whole life of your entire family.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a long time. And that's the weird thing in our industry. Like if you watch people that have like got it and then they cash in, and they're only around for like 5 or 6, only around, like they're like only in the spotlight for like maybe like half a decade, but they're in like fucking everything, and they're just making a fuck ton of money. And you know, not everybody's gonna have like Brad Pitt's career,
right?
But you can still have like a very awesome life, a very well taken care of life in this industry. And it's specifically unique for the performer because, you know, like unless you're a producer or you're like a studio head or like an executive, you know, or, you know, like directors can make a lot of money too. Like, I don't know. It's just like a rocket ship actor, rocket ship money. So, yeah.
Katy Perry in space money.
Ooh, Katy Perry in space money. God damn it, Katy Perry. Not that I was a big fan of hers, but Jesus Christ. Can you oh man, can you
We
believe
don't
that?
have to talk about it. Next subject.
Okay, we'll move on. All right. So, I'm great at transitions. So let's talk about what's the Green Veil?
The Green Veil is a mini series that's set in the 1950s. It's kind of a thriller, sci-fi-y vibes. It's about a guy who's pretty self-loathing, that John Leguizamo plays, and it tackles subjects of like this simulation and when the government was trying to take land from Native American families
Mm.
by removing their children, putting them in orphanages so there were no inheritances to the land back in the 50s. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. So that is what that's about. It's pretty heavy subject matter, but it's shot beautifully and it's the story just is so intriguing and so like you just get lost in wanting more of that series. It was a really fun series to work on.
that's cool. And is this something that John wanted to make for a while, or did he just kind of like come onto the project?
Yeah, so it was written and directed by Aaron Rappaport, who I'm obsessed with. I met him on that project and we've since become friends. He's a brilliant mind. He and John have been friends for quite some time. He directed Latin History for Morons.
Mm,
And so they've been friends for quite a while. And Aaron had written it with John in mind, I believe. And John really wanted to be a part of it because he had never played that kind of character. And it was also a show that isn't typically picked up or greenlit by larger studios. And so
of course not.
no, so it was made independently. John was an EP on it with Aram um, and then they put it up on their like own streaming platform called The Network. It's free streaming. It's ad supported free streaming. You just sign up and you can watch it for free. It's thenetwork.stream is the website if anyone wants to watch it. Yeah, so John was just on board to tackle a character he's never gotten to play and to, tell stories that are hard to tell, are hard for, for studios to want to greenlight because of, how intense and dark and real they are.
But those are the things that people want to see.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and I know that it's based in our American history, which
Mhm.
is generally kind of murky and shitty when it comes to, that
Yeah.
to the indigenous peoples that were here first.
Mhm.
But we shouldn't hide away from that shit. We need to learn about it so that
Mhm.
we can move forward. And I know that seems like oh, of course, but it's
Right.
not. It's not an oh, of course. It's a let's bury that down deep.
Right. No, it's important to understand those stories of Americans. I mean, they were all Americans and we all have different stories and they were the Americans that were the original Americans. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's a reason that we get to exist in this country and to not listen or respect or acknowledge their stories is, unacceptable.
I agree. I really do, and we don't see a lot of their story and if we do, they're like part of some other story.
Right.
Like what's that show? Dark Winds,
I haven't seen.
um, which is really good, and it's the first show that I've seen in a while that's just about them. It's
Yeah.
about and it's them, and I think it's in the like late 1970s, late or early 80s, and
Mhm.
it's great. It's a really fun. I mean, like it's a it's a serialized like reservation police station show,
Okay.
but it's not.
Yeah.
It's yeah, which is cool.
I just like to know too. Like, aren't you just curious to know like about the world and about people that aren't like you? I mean, that's what I love so much about being an actor. Like, I'm never not going to play a white woman, but
Right.
I want to know want to feel other people's experiences. Like I want to understand why someone is the way they are, for better or for worse. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I want to know you.
It's why people are loving Sinners right now.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going
No,
to.
no, it's
I just
all
haven't
over
had
my feed
I
though.
just haven't had time, right? Like, I because the kids, and when the fuck am I gonna go see that? But I'm gonna go see it, and I'm not gonna get sleep just because I want to. And what's great about Ryan Coogler, right, is that um people are like, why is Ryan Coogler doing so well with all of his movies? And it's like, well, because he's a fucking great filmmaker,
Mhm.
and he's telling you stories from a different perspective in a way that just feels like they're your story too.
Yeah.
And that's fucking perfect storytelling, right? It's humanization.
Right.
There is no otherness. It's it's same, right?
Yeah.
Because we fucking are. Like,
Right.
we're the fucking same.
Human race.
Um
Right.
yeah, human race. God damn it. And I know that we're two whites having a fucking conversation about this, um but it is. And Ryan Coogler's it will be one of the most prolific filmmakers to have ever existed.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be up there with like Spielberg and George Lucas and like all these fucking legends of our industry, because of how he tells his stories. And I love learning about, Black history and Black culture, like, especially, like, we're on the East Coast, right? Like, this is where it all happened. It's as part of our cultural identity as anything else. Because of, like, we're on the coasts, and the that's where all the slaves were, and like everything. And it's just learning about stuff that I should have learned about in school,
Seriously.
has been making me lose my shit. Like, like when I learned about Black Black Wall Street from Watchmen.
Yeah.
um Not that that was the first time that it opened my eyes to shit that I should have known, but it's like, just fucking tell everybody what
Yeah.
the fuck happened to
Talk about it.
people. Just
Talk
talk
about it.
about it. There can be no healing. There can be nothing. There can be no understanding of people if we don't understand what happened to them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know we're getting so passionate.
yeah, I am
It's
passionate.
true.
I mean, like,
That's why we're in this business.
it
Like
is.
we're for the most part, a lot of actors are empaths. Like you relate to people and you want to relate, and that's like why you want to make good film or good television, is because you want to move people.
Right.
You want to connect to other human beings. Like that's the whole point.
It is. Yeah, you want to give people their fucking catharsis.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
can do that, and learn or educate people about things they didn't know about, even if, like, whether that's historical or just emotional, like how people feel as humans, and knowing it's okay to feel a certain way, whatever it may be. Like that's the whole reason for living. That's the whole reason for what we do.
It is. God damn it, it is, Annie.
God
God
damn
damn,
it.
God damn it. You hit it right on the head. But so with that, how did you?
Transition.
No, it's not a transition. It's the same. It's a point in this
Perfect.
vein. Is so I know for me, bringing in the whole, like, business part of this shit in,
Yeah.
because that passion that we just had is still here, and we still have it.
Yeah.
But we're both also pretty business minded.
Yes.
When did that start for you? And, like, when did
Out
that
of the
light?
womb. I've wanted to make money since I can remember. I've wanted to, like, have a business or have a store, like, I've always been making things to sell, you know, making bracelets to sell to the neighbors or crafts, you know, or lemonade stands. I was always hustling, always finding a way to make money. I've always wanted, I don't know if it's like the money part, but just knowing that it makes me feel like I'm in control for one, and I like
Okay.
control. And like that's my type A personality is I want to be in control. Um, but also like feeling like um that it's attainable, that like I have skills that translate into this money that then I use to do the things that I like doing, whether that's like going out to eat or, you know, shopping or vacation or paying my bills, obviously, but seeing the direct correlation between my skill and turning that into cash has been in my brain and body since I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, cool. I mean, did you grow up poor or anything like?
Not poor, not wealthy,
Hmm,
you know, lower middle class. We never I never saw struggle, but we didn't have extravagance. Um,
sure.
there was no like luxury. I think the first time we went on like a real vacation that wasn't like camping in the woods, I was 16. Like
Oh,
we never,
nice.
you know, I didn't leave the country. I left the country when I was 16. We went on a cruise and we stopped in the Bahamas, and that was the first time I'd seen the ocean, the first
Oh,
time I left
wow.
the country. Yeah, we didn't you know, we lived within our means. Like I never felt poor, but I definitely didn't have the money that a lot of my schoolmates had. A lot of my schoolmates would like come to school with their cold lunch. You had cold lunch if you were rich because that meant your mom stayed home from work and could pack lunch.
Oh, okay.
I ate hot lunch because my parents both worked to provide for the family. And so there was I you know, there was a girl or two that would come to school and they'd have their cold lunch from home, their packed lunch in a little brown bag
Oh,
from
like,
Bloomingdale's. I
yeah.
didn't know what that was until I was 19 or 20 and I had moved to New York and I saw the bag, like a woman walking down the street, and I was like, "Oh," and it clicked in my head that like that's how much money they had, that this girl was like flying to New York or, you know, where there was a Bloomingdale's and shopping there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I had no connection to what that meant at all. I also remember coming back from spring break and wondering how my friends all got tan if they were just watching The Price is Right every day like I was. I was like, how are you guys like so tan? Like that it didn't like click in my brain at all that they were like going away on vacation and laying in the
Yeah.
sun and
Having
um
having a totally other life.
having a totally other life and like whatever, like I you know, I was fairly happy as a child, but yeah, I liked to hustle and I like to pick up quarters under the cashier's, you know, checkout lanes at the grocery store down the street from my house that I walked to when I was barefoot so I could put 35 cents in the soda machine and get a can of A&W root beer
Nice. And this was in Iowa?
in Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
No, that's really cool. I came to the, like, business part of this very, very kicking and screaming.
Oh,
Um,
really?
I mean, like, I've
You were an
always
artist.
oh my god, I still am. Shut up, Annie, okay? But, like, no. Yes. It was just it was such a hard thing for me to learn, and it is for a lot of actors that there is a whole business part of this that you have to love as much as you
Yeah.
love the art form. And until I figured that out, I was really struggling. I was really, because I felt like dirty and bad and like not that I didn't need the money,
Right.
but like, you know, I was perfectly fine doing like like touring regional Shakespeare
Sure.
shit for like $100 a week and
Right.
then like working at like a rando place and wherever we were on tour, and I was like, I'm perfectly fine doing this.
Yeah. So did, like, doing commercials or things that weren't necessarily deemed as artsy, did that bother you at all, like, when you first
It did
started?
in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, in the beginning, I was like, I remember when I got my first agent, I was like, "I'm not doing commercials, I'm not doing print, I'm
Like,
not doing anything but theater or whatever else.
real legit television or
Real
probably
work."
not even television, you were like, "Just film."
Yeah, basically, like, yeah, I was like, "I'm just doing movies with Martin Scorsese, and I'm only doing Shakespeare in the Park, and if you can't do that for me, then I'm gonna have to find somebody who can."
That's
Uh,
fun.
I was a real pretentious D-bag in the beginning of my stuff, and I still have it inside me. I'm
Yeah,
fairly pretentious when it comes to art, but commercials pay a lot of money.
they do. See, I
Yeah.
think I'm the opposite, like, I got into modeling because it paid. Like, I was like, "Oh, this is, like, a way that I can work and make large chunks of cash using the skills I already have." And then that transitioned into commercials, and I was like, "Money, money, money." Like, of course, I enjoyed what I did, and I felt very creative doing it, and I've been a creative person in music and did theater my whole life growing up, but it was never when I got back into it as an adult, it was more out of necessity because, like, I seemed to just book jobs regularly enough that I knew that I could make more money doing that than waiting tables.
No, I mean, like, I didn't have modeling as an option until fairly recently.
With your
Um,
hands.
no, like, just
Oh,
as
yeah.
myself,
Sure.
like, until, like, like, big and tall brawn modeling didn't
Mhm.
really come into vogue until, like, I guess, like, 10 years ago or
Yeah.
so, and right out of the gate, they were just like, "You're booked, you're booked, you're booked, you're
Yeah.
booked," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and then I remember I was working for this clothing company, uh, on Tuck which is the
Yeah, yeah,
button-down
yeah.
shirt company,
Yep.
um, and I remember, like, it was, like, my first, like, big job, like, a
Mhm.
lot of money, and I was like, "Holy shit, you can make this much money doing print work, print modeling, this is great." Hopefully I book more of this so I can,
Yeah.
leave my shit, so I don't have to work any survival jobs anymore. I won't have to work in the bagel store anymore, um, and, I remember whenever I would be on set, like, the photographers would be losing their fucking minds, like, super they're like, "Oh my god, like, you're so good, like, you're so expressive, like, everything that we ask you to do, you just do it first time. It's crazy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm an actor." And, they were like, what does that mean?"
What does
And
that
and
mean?
yeah, and I'm like, "Well, I'm trained to emote for you, so whatever you say to me, I'll do it first time."
Right.
And they were like, "No one fucking does this." And I was like,
I do.
"Wow." I was like, "Well, I do.
Yeah.
I'm a pretentious actor." No, but, like, um, it was crazy because they freaked out, and they still do. Like, when I'm sure you've experienced this too, like, when you're modeling and you're just acting, going through your shit,
Yeah.
they, like, their minds explode. TikTok, I'm still here. Stop making me do a puzzle. All right, there's your
Do the
puzzle.
puzzle.
Shut up. Like, you just, like, you rock their world, and the, like, brand fucking loves it too.
Yeah. I think that's, like, what I realized when I got into TV and film is that, like, when I first started out in theater, I started out in musical theater because I sang. I loved to sing, and it was a stage for me to perform, and, as I became an adult, my, like, acting and my music became very separate, and my music was my, like, emotion, like, get it out, like, feel the feels, like, my real artistic release was doing music, and the acting portion for me was just, like, the print modeling and the commercials, like, it wasn't as deep, and, that's when I transitioned into TV and film, like, I realized, like, being able to do those at the same time again was like so fulfilling,
Mm,
and I just hadn't gotten to the point where I had the opportunity, I guess, to do the deep feeling things with, the on-camera work, and, like, putting those things back together for me was, like, kind of an aha moment of, "Oh, yeah, I've always acted, and I've always done music, and they can like, the emotion of the music and the acting can go hand in hand," whereas, like, when I was acting as a kid, it was like, well, I'm a singer and like, and I'm going to feel through the song. But like, once I'm saying my lines, I'm like, whatever, like,
yeah.
I'm just here for the song. I'm just here for my solo, that kind of thing. And so that was definitely kind of like a real moment of clarity, I think, when I started doing TV and film, was that like connecting to the character deeply satisfies that feeling inside of me, to connect to people, to emote, to do all the things that I had only been doing through music up until that point.
Mm, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's great when, like, things really, like, come together and click and they really start to work for you,
Mhm.
because it changes everything, like
Yes, yeah.
like you just said, yeah, like, it just and it makes it fun again, or maybe for the first time, right? Like
Yeah. I I I think I think all of us go through spells where like you feel very in your body and very connected to the work, and then you have, a few weeks maybe where you're like kind of in robot mode, where you're just like do the tape, like
yeah,
um
yeah.
get it done. Um But those moments where you just feel so present and connected is like just the greatest feeling in the world. And I feel very fortunate that I can experience that deep feeling of humanity, I guess, through acting and through music. That I have two different outlets to be able to do that,
Mhm.
because it's just like a really, I don't know, I feel like an enlightened version of myself, like, when it happens. It's almost like otherworldly or, like, out of body, where you just are kind of, like, floating in this middle space of, you know, feeling. Does that make
I
sense?
mean,
This is getting
it
very woo.
does.
Okay.
No, no, I mean, but that's, like, my whole, like, acting thing is just, like, my I mean, like, I've learned a lot of technique and stuff, but my whole from this Russian guy, my, like, whole thing is that, like, acting is and performance is very spiritual. It's
Mhm.
very you're connecting to something ethereal and allowing it in and allowing it out.
Yeah.
Um, and that's sure you can learn how to speak well and technique and how to move your body and
Right.
hold yourself, but there's an unexpected chaos that you have to kind of sift through and contend with in order to uh, be a very good, uh, very compelling performer. Um, so yeah, that makes total sense to me.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just figured that out just now.
that's great.
It just clicked.
Yeah, sometimes shit just clicks.
This makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you just are you're having a conversation about things that you like, and then you're like, oh my god,
Oh
yeah,
my
oh my
god.
god, it all makes sense now. Yeah, and that's
It
what it's
does.
like.
It makes sense.
No, yeah, I mean, I think part of why it was so hard for me to bring business into the whole art thing is because acting did very literally save my life. Like I was like a homeless kid. And then I was in foster care and I had like this debilitating stutter. Like I could speak maybe 2 or 3 words in a row at a time. And then my new foster parents put me into Catholic school because I needed some structure or whatever.
Rulers.
Yeah.
I went to Catholic
Um,
school.
and then I auditioned for the school play for some reason, and I could speak. I could speak for the first time, like in
Wow,
complete sentences and shit. Um, and I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is what I have to do. I fucking have to do
this
this, or
is
I'm
all
gonna
this
die."
is the
Yeah,
only thing I can do.
yeah. uh, oh God. And then, yeah. And then, so I just pursued the whole like artist part of it really, really hard.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, business. I'm not a fuck. But yeah, so that's probably why it was harder for me to lock into there. But I've been there for a long, long time, like locked in. So,
Yeah,
uh,
but to each his own. I mean, it's a balance. Like you just have to have enough of both of them
yeah, it's true. It's
to
true.
skirt by.
To just, to just, to
To
just
bare minimum.
bullshit your way through, through it. That
Uh,
is true. Yo, what's this? What
yeah.
is the artist?
Oh, ooh.
God, I'm so good at transitions. It's like
So good.
I should teach a master class.
Um, the artist is a new limited series that is coming out. It stars Mandy Patinkin and Janet McTeer.
I love Mandy Patinkin, man.
I love Mandy.
I
I love
fucking love
Mandy so much.
her.
Yeah. Danny Houston also. They're kind of the three main lead characters. It's about a failing eccentric tycoon that Mandy plays, and he has a bunch of kind of notable celebrity figures over. This is during the Gilded Age, and then someone gets murdered, and then we have to figure out who did it.
What?
Yeah,
Really? It's like a
yeah,
murder
it's done.
mystery.
Yeah,
Oh,
like a
wow,
murder mystery. It's very kind of in the vein of like Poor Things. It's kind of like old but new. Um, like Poor Things, was obviously set in a certain time period, but there was a lot of modern energy, I guess you
sure.
could say. It's similar to that in just in its tone. Um, but it's a riot. It's thrilling, it's funny, it's I can't wait for everyone to see it. It was like the most fun I've ever had on set. I shot for 6 weeks. It's the longest I've ever gone away to shoot something. Ugh, I miss those days. It was so much fun. It was very cold, but it was so much fun.
Well, yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
play
I
a
mean,
lady who sees
being
all.
being really cold, but it's really cool is like the perfect way to say stuff like
Don't
that.
use that soundbite, please.
I'm gonna put it directly. It was really cold, but it was
Cold,
really
it's
cool.
cool.
I was gone for 6 weeks, but I was so cold.
It was we shot that series all in Connecticut at the Hillstead Museum. I'm gonna plug the Hillstead Museum because that place was phenomenal. Um, it's a museum in Connecticut that is original to the time period. So it takes place in 1906, I believe. And this museum is full of original art from Degas and
Oh,
Monet and Manet, and Whistler, and I mean, I stood in those rooms next to those paintings every day and just, like, melted. It was the coolest place ever to film something. Also, like, you couldn't touch anything and you couldn't sit anywhere, and there was, like, a lot of security, um but it was so magical, and you really felt transported back in time because the sets were just phenomenal.
that sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I love what we do so much.
me
I
too.
mean, like, just being able to, like, have these experiences and to see these places and to get immersed in it and to pr pr like, bring stuff like that to life is such a privilege
Mhm.
and an honor too, because you have to do it right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a responsibility, right? Like,
It
especially
is.
with those older pieces.
Yeah, I mean, this is very loosely historical fiction. So, there are people of the era present in the story. Um, I wasn't playing a person of note, so I had, more free will with my behavior and, my speech and all of that kind of thing. But yeah, to honor the time period and, just to make it as real as possible when it's something that you haven't experienced at all and would not even be able to, really practice, or you know what I mean? It's not like you can go back to 1906 and be like, "What were people doing?" Like,
Right.
have, like, 4 pictures and you're like, "Hmm, okay." Like, um, but, yeah, I mean, it's just there's so many things that I've experienced because I'm an actor that I would never get to live as a human being if it weren't for the job that I do, you
Right.
know?
Well, what I love about what you're just speaking about is like specifically with like period stuff from way back. It's great because everyone spent so much more time with themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, there were no phones, there were no computers, like, you maybe had, like, a couple books, and
Mhm.
then, like, the sun went down and you had, like, a shitty candle that you were like, "I can't use all this candle or I'm gonna die." But so, it's like people were, I don't know, I don't wanna say weirder, but, like, they had more interesting quirks and they did more shit, like, in an individual way, whereas I feel like in modern times, everyone is much more standardized,
I
like,
don't know, I think I'm kinda weird.
no, I'm fucking weird too, but we certainly have, like, a more standardized vo vocabulary and, like, meme set and slang and
I think
emojis.
I think as a collective society, we are more alike. But I do think that back in the day, there were very specific standards about how you could behave, what you could say, what women could do. What I think you
Right.
were quite restricted um, as a person. And maybe that's why people were, presumably more quirky or interesting on their off time or whatever, but or just, Connecticut versus California and or well, I guess there was nobody in California. Wait, yes there were. I was like, what year was this? 1906. Yes, there were people in California. Um uh like because we didn't have media and communication in the same kind of fashion, but there it was just very specific,
Well, you could just, like, walk off into the woods for a while. Right? And then or like whatever you wanted to do, it just took a while, right? Like if you wanted to
everything took
go, everything took a while. Like if like
like
you're like I'm gonna go to town, like
leave in
that's
3 weeks.
yeah, see ya. Maybe I'll come back with cheese unless I need it to not die. Like it's like and then like you have like 75 life-changing experiences the
Sure.
entire time that you're
And you
doing.
die when you're 32.
Yeah, and then you die horribly of horrible dysentery because you ate the wrong, apple or you or you left the water out in the wrong place. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, I think even, like, filming something of that era, you lived it a little bit. I mean, we our costumes, you could only make them so warm when we were shooting outside. It's not like people just had coats. It's not
Right.
like the staff of the house, could wash themselves. Like, we were filthy. We were, the water was always cold. Like, there,
You were really cold, I guess, yeah, you
yeah,
were cold the
we
whole time,
were
yeah.
really cold.
You keep you keep talking about how cold it
Talk
was.
That's all I remember. I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's just
what I
cold. I don't
read.
remember any of my lines, I don't remember what I
Cold.
did. I just
I
remember
probably
shivering.
forgot the lines half the time because I
Yeah.
was so cold. But
No,
it's
but
just
that's
like
very true.
a thing made for challenging television to make as well, just like you can only use certain kind of lights and you can only, you're only
That's
sitting on a
yeah.
really uncomfortable wooden bench. Like or if you're allowed to sit down at all, because the museum didn't let you sit anywhere.
You can shoot here, but if you sit anywhere, we're gonna shoot you in the legs.
Well, there was, I guess we were the first production to ever film there because other productions at some point had inquired about shooting in that space, but there were just so many restrictions with, like, you can't mount anything on the walls, you can't hang lights for, lighting scenes. Like,
Oh, that makes sense.
we utilized basically only the lights that existed in that museum, and the lighting team, who were incredible, had like these bulbs they put in everything, and they could control them on an iPad.
Oh, cool.
Basically, all the lighting, they didn't have really any supplementary lighting. Most of the time we were shooting indoors. It was all either natural light, or it had to be projected from outside, because if it was internal light, like,
Oh,
put in, they weren't really allowed to like bring big things
lighting
in.
apparatus. Yeah, so
Yeah, they were
it was
so
all coming in through the windows and stuff.
exactly, because
Oh,
so I mean, there was so much valuable art, and all the furniture was original, like that they were like, and all, even the walls were like all wall and hand painted wallpaper. I mean, it was
oh wow.
stunning.
That's cool.
Couldn't touch anything.
No touch.
No touch.
That's great. And so this will be out sometime soonish.
I think they're planning for a summertime release. I don't have an exact.
Do you know like where it's going to be released?
We were picked up for distribution by Fifth Season, who did Severance, and I can't even think of many other shows and films. So they are in charge. They are in
Cool.
charge where it will be, but they've put out some great work. So
Well, I look forward to seeing it wherever it ends up one day in the summertime
yeah, who knows?
release.
Could be next year. I don't know.
It could
I
be.
hope it's soon.
Awesome.
So
Well, we did it. We have been talking for 1 whole hour.
amazing.
We did it. We did a great job, I think. Annie,
I
thank you
hope I
so
kept
much.
you on track. I'm
I,
like,
the whole point is to not be on track.
perfect.
Like, I mean, like I just do my magical thing where I go, so the thing that you did, and then
And then
we
you go,
talk about that, and then we go off on a tangent. So, and
perfect.
that's the point of the show. It's just supposed to be fun.
I had fun.
Good. I'm glad.
Good.
Thank you so much for being here, and I will speak to you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really had a good time.
I'm glad.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope you had as much fun as I did, and I will see you all again soon. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're watching on the Facebook, hi, please share the video. If you're watching on TikTok, send me a flower or whatever it is. I'm still not really used to what TikTok is. And if you're watching on Instagram, what's up? Thank you for being here. We are very close to hitting 25,000 people. It's wild, and I can't believe so many of you are here and interested in what the fuck I am doing. But I really appreciate it, and I love you, and thank you for being here. And Annie also put some of her platforms on. So hello, Annie's Instagram and Facebook. I really appreciate you watching and being here, and I will see you all again soon. Anni Krueger just joined on TikTok. What up? And I will see you next time. See you next week. Sorry, Annie, the live stream that you're on just ended. Bye. Oh shit. I love it.